Well, good evening and welcome to Hull and Back podcast and Tiger Talk here on Humber Wave Radio and on the podcast. Good to have you tuned in tonight and thanks very much for joining us. How are we all? Good evening to you, Joe.
Good evening.
Good evening to you, Christian.
Yeah, evening, buddy. Yeah, hi, everyone.
Good evening to you, Paul.
Good evening.
We've got an intruder on the screen. What's happening? Good evening, Ryan.
Good evening.
How's you, Ryan?
I'm brilliant, thank you, Eddie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. I see a lot of shirts sat next to you there.
Yes.
Good collection.
Yep, strong.
I like that one. I've got that one in the wardrobe. It is a nice one, that one. I have a
The
full
remake
real last
or
elf.
The remake or the actual one?
I've not got the original, I can tell you that for now. I've got a few that look as though they're the old ones, but they're anything from the 90s or the 80s is definitely one that I got on replica, let's say, which is they're very good though, very good. Won't tell the difference. But yeah, good to have you on, Ryan. We'll talk to you and we'll come to you in a little while. We'll ask you, about what you're doing because you're a bit of a TikToker, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Look at that. What's going on behind me? I like that.
It's the first time that's ever happened, that.
No, it doesn't work for me. Does it work for you, Joe? No. It must be a TikTok thing. We'll find out what you do and how you do these magic tricks in a little while. For radio, there was a lot of stars appeared when Ryan put his thumbs up in the air there. And yeah, it was just amazing.
It's some regular fireworks.
It's definitely not happening to me. No. Oh, there you go again. How's that happening?
I don't know. It's one of life's mysteries, Eddie.
One of life's mysteries. You'll talk us through
these fireworks. I'm going to boot him off.
Is Debbie McGee on here as well? For the younger ones in the audience, she was Paul Daniels' better half and assistant. So yeah, no, Debbie McGee on tonight. It's just us five, and it's good to have you tuned in. We're obviously going to have a match tonight. We're recording this on Monday night, so if there's been any news after Monday night, we haven't seen it. We have seen a little bit of news, which we always like to have a little bit of fun news on the podcast here. And if you was lucky enough to buy this year's Hull City calendar, then you have got a player in February that's not with us anymore.
Who was left
unfortunately, he's left us in February. He's definitely not going to be your Valentine. Abdush Umar, he's gone and he's not with us anymore. Where's he gone to, Joe?
Am I the one doing the pronunciation of this Turkish
Yes, you
song?
are. Yes, I'm definitely not even trying it.
Always.
Let's have it. Abdush has gone to Jaipur Rizespor on loan for the rest of the season.
Well done. Yeah, well, can I give you a round of applause? There you go. Little round of applause for you there, Joe, because of how well you did that. So I definitely couldn't have done it. If you have bought the calendar, you might be disappointed at getting May, I'm afraid, because May, well, it had to be Maylam, didn't it, for May? No, he's not with us anymore. Sorry, he's gone as well. So the calendars are now going for 10 pence each in the shop, I've heard, just because of them two leaving. So get yourself a bargain, and you can always cut them out and put another player in there or something like that if you've got a good download or something like that. And that's how a little bit of fun to start us off with. Me and Christian are going to have an argument halfway through the podcast as usual because it won't be the podcast without it. But yeah, hard game tonight, Joe.
Yeah, for when that debate inevitably comes, Ryan, get the popcorn on. Me and Paul will put our feet up and you can dish it out.
Yep, lovely stuff.
Yeah. Look, Burnley don't concede a lot of goals, do they?
No.
It's a point we made last week. It's a point Christian and I made on the main show on Sunday night with Nathaniel and Ant. Well, in spite of that, the fact we're away from home against a team who's only conceded 9 goals all season, we're more optimistic that we can beat them away than we are that we can win anything at home, which isn't how it should be, but this is Hull City we're talking about. And if you're tuning in as a non-Hull City fan for whatever reason, welcome. This is life as a Hull City fan. It's a great laugh.
Typical City is what it's called, Joe, isn't it? And how do you see it going, Paul?
Well, I think we've got a chance, yeah, to be fair. They don't concede many, obviously, and I think they're the lowest in Europe, aren't they, of all the divisions, 9. But they don't score many neither. They're not like the Burnley who went up a couple of years ago and free scoring. So, we've got a chance, haven't we? If we can keep us clean sheets like they do, we could maybe sneak a goal somewhere along the line. We've nothing to lose, really, have we? We're expected to get beat. So, realistically, we've nothing to lose. I think we should be going for it and trying to get something out of the game. I mean, the weekend results didn't do too bad. No Portsmouth got a late penalty to get a point, but we've got a game in hand on them. If we could sneak a point back, we go back above them, don't we? And Derby got beat. So I think it's a sort of no-lose game. If we do lose, well, obviously we've got to come back on Saturday and beat Norwich. But I think we've got a chance at Burnley. I really do. They're not free scoring, so that's got to be helpful for us. And I know we don't score many ourselves, like 0-0's written all over it, to be fair, like I think
probably is, yeah.
I'd take a point.
John Egan's return to Burnley, Christian, does he start?
I think he needs to, if I'm being totally honest. It's going to be a tricky one for him, especially first game back would be obviously his old club. But I think with how we're kind of looking at the moment injury-wise and availability and who we do have, I think it's a kind of a must situation where he's got to start. If we're actually going for it, we want to solidify a 0-0 because we still are leaking goals, even though we play better away and our form is 5 times better away. We still give away silly goals. So hopefully having someone like Egan there will prevent those type of silly goals that we're coming in from. But then again, I'm sure our debate later on is going to come about and start talking about these leaky goals and where they're coming from.
Probably so.
Probably so.
Ryan, who are we dropping for John Egan?
Oh, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one because, I mean, that whole back line, I don't think anyone has really put themselves in contention to be the first name on the team sheet. Do you know what I mean? I think Alfie Jones, as much as I love him, I think he could do with a breather. We don't know whether McLaughlin's going to be a square peg in a round hole in left back or whether he's going to be back in left centre back. So if it were me, I'd probably give Alfie Jones a breather, but I wouldn't want that to be a mainstay thing. I'd like to see some rotation, but I think Alfie Jones needs a rest.
And obviously, Charlie Hughes is back in training with the first team. Got a chance. I don't think he's going to play this week, but, he's got a chance for next week. So then are you going to have John Egan and Charlie Hughes as your 2 centre-backs then, Paul?
I wouldn't have thought so, no, not initially, and it might end up that way later on in the season, but I can't see it being the next 2 or 3 weeks. One's just coming from Burnley, the other one's been out for quite a while with an injury. I can't see it being the centre-back pairing. I'd like to think he might go 3 at the back, which I often say, don't I? But
you've got no
I'm
chance.
sure it won't happen, but well, you never know. He might be listening. He might just be listening to us, mate. He might think, I'll have a go at that and go 3 at the back. I think we could.
The players are off to warm
left.
up and he's changing the system round.
Just because he's listening
I think
to
we could do.
Talk here on Humber Wave Radio on to Hull and Back podcast. He's got no better to do, just listening to us before the game.
Well, as we've discussed before, and you and Christian have had a rouse about, a lot of goals are leaked from the wings, aren't they, from our team? The full-backs.
Yeah.
Nobody's really convinced by either full-back at the moment, whoever occupies the berths, to be quite honest. So do we do away with them and just have a couple of wing-backs, moving forward and getting back when they can? You've got cover with Egan and Jones.
It's a fair point. I do think it's a fair point. I think it's that thing that we're probably not going to see it, but I do think it's a fair point. Obviously, it's looking like it's going to be coiling at right back because Drame's got a little bit of an injury, picked up a knock, so I think he's going to start right back. And what Ryan says is right. You don't know who's going to start at left back. It's still a bit of an unknown whether he'll put McLaughlin there. He might want that for a little bit of solidity. I don't know. It's one of them. He could put Matty Jacob there. Could play obviously McLaughlin there. So it's a difficult choice. I think he's been a bit unlucky. I mean, well, we've been a bit unlucky with injuries this season, haven't we? When you look at having Charlie Hughes out, you've got your 2 best wingers out. He's been a little bit unlucky with injuries, whether it's him or whether it's Tim Volta. to lose those players is difficult. So it's always going to be a difficult one to try and overcome them and to try and get the right things in place to cover those injuries. So you've got a feel for us. But I saw a comment on Twitter earlier, and I want to ask you all this question. Can we, let's start off with you, Joe. Can we avoid relegation this season? Because it was asked on Twitter earlier.
Yes, absolutely. I could just full stop it there and move it on, but what's the point in that? I'm going to explain
It wouldn't
myself.
it wouldn't be a show if you did that, Joe, would it?
No, it wouldn't. Look, have we got enough in this squad to stay up? Yes, but we are still massively paying for that miserable German who was in the hot seat from the end of, well, from sort of end of June, early July until the end of November, who is who shall not be named in, well, at least in my little section of the screen tonight.
Didn't he get down to about 4-1 to get Derby's manager? So
yeah, well, when the odds first came out for Derby, if this isn't proof that bookies, when a manager gets sacked, just throw enough proverbial at the wall and just hope some of it sticks, then that there you have it. Tim Walter.
No, there's evidence. I saw him in Nottinghamshire. It's happening. Eustace, it's all smoke and mirrors.
He's just dressed as John Eustace. It's a disguise. Tim Walter, I've said his name twice now.
You have, Joe, yeah. You weren't going to say his name.
TW will be lucky to ever work again, let alone work in England again. And yeah, I think the bookies were certainly wide of the mark on that one. Sorry to break it to you, Ryan. You can go and cry in a corner if you want.
The question was, Joe, can we stay up this season? Let's get back to it.
Yeah, let's regain some composure, shall we?
Yeah, come on. You too, Christian.
The players we've got in this squad are more than capable of staying up. Charlie Hughes, Alfie Jones, Ivo Panda in goal, Stephen Alzate, Elio Matazo, Gustavo Puerta, Gelhardt, Barry, etc. are all good enough to keep us in this league. John Egan, another one, adding to that. The question is, we have more home games left than we do away games, I think.
Not a good thing.
So, I think, I saw someone suggest on social media earlier that the club need to be talking to sports psychologists and doing everything they can to try and break the curse or to get the atmosphere going. Just popped it on the end of the statement. Give fans free pints to get the atmosphere up. Which I think if you reorder those statements, fans free pints first, but then you talk to the sports psychologists and the professionals. And we made a massive investment on the pitch at home, which clearly just isn't working. And you can make the argument of every team has to play on the same pitch that we do, but we play there more consistently than every other team in the division. So the argument does have some weight. The only thing that worries me is the home form, especially considering we've got so many teams around us still to play at home. Derby, Luton, Oxford, Plymouth, teams that are in the bottom half of the table and in and around the relegation places, in the relegation scrap with us. We need to be winning those games at home. If they were away, I'd be buzzing. But they're not. We wasted those away games under Tim Walter and drew with Wayne Rooney's Plymouth, lost to Oxford, lost to Luton, who were on a shocking run of form at that time, and got a point out at Derby when we should very easily have won that game because Derby were poor at home for one game and that little good run they went on at the start of the year. So had flipped the fixture list, I'd be well confident. But that isn't the case. So we just need to sort the home form out and keep doing what we're doing away. Yes, we can stay up.
Christian, Do you think Joe'd make a good politician? Because I think he skated around it really well there. And he did sort of answer in the end, but it took him a long, long while. I've seen politicians give shorter answers than him, haven't you?
Took the scenic route there, didn't we?
Yeah, he definitely took the scenic route. I will give him that.
Thank you for joining me on this journey.
No, it was definitely a very balanced one. You know, you can't. I can't argue with what he said, though. Let's be honest. It is, with respect to can we staying up. Yeah, we've got enough with respect to the players that we have, but it's our home form, which is just it's scary. I mean, the home is meant to be where you are getting these points, and the road are the ones where you're meant to claw them. When it's role reversed, you can't say you have the same confidence getting the away wins, even though we know that's where most of our points are going to come from.
Am I right in thinking that we've won 4 home games in 13 months?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Don't just.
It is hard, and I'm just got the fixture list in front of me here, Christian. I'm looking at it. Burnley, Norwich, Sunderland, Cardiff who were around us, you know, so you've got top teams, and then you've got the teams that are in and around us. I think the person on Twitter today, I can't remember who it was, so I apologise to whoever it was asking this question on Twitter today, but I think they've got a fair point in asking that question, don't you, Ryan?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, listen, there's the contradictory side of it, but last season we were conceding 1.3 goals per game. This season we're 1.33. It's not, at the contrary to popular belief, it's not the back that's the problem.
No.
Obviously we need to get scoring goals at home. We know we just need to play better in general and stop shooting ourselves in the foot. If we were getting comfortably beaten every week, I'd be able to have a little bit more solace in our position at the moment. But it's the fact that a lot of where we are is very, very our own doing. And it's happened in front of all our very eyes. So I can see both sides of the argument, because when, say, your glass is half empty, you watch that and you think, God, we don't stand a chance. But then when you see that if we just eliminated some of those mistakes, we could be comfortably out of this position come mid-March. So
well, it is that thing, Ryan, isn't it? You know, when you look at the Stoke game, we had more than enough chances to put that to bed in the first half.
In the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, and you don't take those chances, and then you get bit because you don't take them chances. And that's really been the story of, a lot of the games at home in the last 13 months, when we've only won 4 games at home in 13 months.
Yeah, and I think the thing is as well, there just seems to be such a lack of directness when we're at home, and I can never understand that. And obviously, Ruben is gonna take time, and it took time for him to bed in. But he made Reading into a fortress at home, and that was his bread and butter. That's where they were picking their points up, wasn't it? Now it's the absolute flip other side of the coin here, but it's whether he can do that in time, because we need him to.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's important, isn't it, to keep them in the Championship this season with the players that, you know, you've just listed a load of players, Joe, that we've got. A lot of them are our players. You know, it's important to stay in the Championship because that wage bill's big. And I'm sure, you know, there will be some clauses in there and things like that. But when you drop in from, I don't know what it is now, because I mean, I'll be honest, I've not looked. But I know last time we went down to League One, we got 8 million in the Championship. You got 1.5 million in League One. It's a huge drop. It was 6.5 million at that point. It's got to be more than that now, hasn't it, Paul?
Yeah, and it's the support, isn't it, you may lose for going down another division.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I mean, you might keep them, but you know, people are very fickle when you're going down divisions, isn't it? You know, and you aren't winning at home. You know, there's like a double-edged sword. You've gone down to Division 1. You've only won, well, maybe a few more than 4, bar then, hopefully. But if you haven't won many more at home, people are going to think, I ain't going to watch them. They aren't winning at home. They're in another division lower. And obviously, how many of the players do you keep, you know, with clauses and things like that? It's really a disaster if we go down, I think, this season. I think we've got to stay up, even if it's 4th from bottom. I don't think there's any other way. I think
so what I want now
and
is
we've more than got enough players to stay up, to be honest.
So what I want now is all quick answers. Joe, are we staying up, yes or no?
Aye.
Christian.
Yeah, but it's going to vote Eve.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page, to be quite honest with you. I think we're all saying that it's a juster. And if you look at the league table at the moment, I think, we're probably going to finish somewhere around where we are at the moment, which is fourth from bottom. I do think, it could be just as tight as that. And I think it could go down to the last game of the season. One thing is for sure, we've got to play better on the last game of the season than we did on the last game of the season last season.
Well, I think the stat is we've not won a last game of the season since 2016. And then we had the playoffs after that. So this doesn't take into account playoffs or anything like that. The last time we won the final game of the season was Rotherham at home in May 2016 when we won 5-1. I think. I've not checked it, but I think.
Last game of the season on my calendar is Portsmouth away. So it's another long journey down south. And we don't like that, do we, on the last game of the season?
Well,
I think we go to that game needing to win the game. I think we're relegated. That's my opinion. I don't think we can go there needing to win.
Can we just temporarily promote some Welsh teams? Because the two games we've won at home this season are against Swansea and Cardiff. So can we promote Wrexham?
Well, you might have Wrexham next season, but we might miss out on that if we do get to that last game of the season. It's against Portsmouth away, and we need to win and we lose it because then we're down. And Wrexham, I would think, are probably coming up, aren't they? So
they've got a very good chance of Wrexham.
Very good chance of coming up.
Yeah.
I think Birmingham.
Well, that's 3 guaranteed wins at home next season if we stay up.
You never know, do you? You never know. Right, so we've had a bit of doom and gloom. Let's get rid of the doom and gloom now because I don't like to be doom and gloom master for too long. What I want to say now, if it's okay with you all, is that just under a week, I'm at the Good Fellowship Inn on Cottingham Road, Tuesday, the 18th of February, where we've got Matt Crooks and Carl Joseph both attending. It's a Meet the Players event for Hull City Official Supporters Club. It's in the Kenilworth Street Suite. The doors open at 6:30. The event starts at 7 sharp. The players can stay till 8:30, and I'll be hosting the night and asking some questions of them. And anybody that turns up to come can also ask questions. Tickets are £3 or free if you're a Hull City Official Supporters Club member. That's my little bit of promotion out the way for next week. So thank you for letting me do that. And I hope you all can join me. And I'm looking forward to the night. I think it'll be a really good night. I've still got to put some questions together because I've not done them yet. But don't tell anybody else, will you?
You have to submit
Ask
your
them if
questions.
Hull City can stay.
I might ask that question, can Hull City stay up? I might, to be fair, it's a good one. If I don't ask it, I'll tell you what, there'll be a 7-year-old in this audience that does ask that question because they are always asking the questions that you think, I really want to ask this, but I just dare to do it. There's a 7-year-old over there. He'll definitely ask it for you.
And then just afterwards, another one will ask, Kyle, have you got any match-worn boots in your car? Can I have them, please?
To be fair, no. It's more nice than that at the Hull City Official Supporters Club's meeting. We don't get people asking for free tickets or boots, which is
Lovely.
good.
That's just when the chairman puts one on then.
That's when the chairman puts one on, definitely so. Love to see you down there, Tuesday the 18th of February, 7 o'clock at the Good Fellowship. You do have to get your tickets in advance, I believe, for this one. I don't think there's any tickets on the door. Tickets are on sale now at hullcityosc.org. So we've got another game on Saturday. They're coming thick and fast after we've had a little break. Norwich at home. It's another 3 o'clock kickoff. We've had a few of these just lately. It's going to be a hard game again, isn't it, Ryan?
Well, to be honest, I think it's the 3 o'clock that's throwing us off. I forgot that we play at 3 o'clock. But no, yeah, I really, really, really don't like playing Norwich. I just think nothing good comes from us playing Norwich. So I think that's a bit of a free hitter. I'd rather get that out of the way. They've got the league's top scorer. They're just so we saw how painful they can hit on the break. And if we have any intention of improving this home form, we are going to have to chuck the kitchen sink at teams. But in reverse, that also means teams like Norwich can punish us. So I don't know. I'd go a lot more glass half full for the Burnley game than I would the Norwich game.
Well, it's away from home is the Burnley game, so it's got to be more half full, hasn't
it? So we're all right. But that Norwich home game, I know it's not the answer that we all wanted, but I'm not looking forward to that one.
No, well,
a caveat to what Ryan said, and I said this on the Sunday show, that yes, we lost 4-0 and they hit us on the counter-attack really effectively, and no doubt they are still dangerous, but that was with Tim Walter insane ball, where the centre-backs would sit on the halfway line. Poor Oscar Zambrano would be sat about 10 yards in front trying to do everything. And then full-backs, other centre mids, forward line were right on the edge of their box. So, and because, well, we had Chris Badia up front, nothing was going to happen, was it? So they could just hit us on the counter and we'd have 3 players back against their 10 rushing forward. So it was never going to be a fun night, even though I'm sure at the time we all predicted we'd win, which, looking back, is a bit ridiculous with hindsight. But it's a wonderful thing, isn't it? I think it will be slightly different this time because we won't be playing that style of football where we leave 3 players back plus the keeper sat hugging Alfie Jones while he stood in the centre circle. But I still don't think it'll be a pretty afternoon.
It's changed a bit since then, though, Christian, hasn't it? With the new, with Ruben's way of playing, he's definitely got us more solid, I would say, and he's got us playing better. It's just a little bit of fine tuning now, isn't it?
I want to say, yeah. I mean, we can look at the Sheffield United result and how we played against them, especially in the first half before the substitutions as well. With how Carl Joseph was and how we were playing the ball up the pitch and actually kind of forcing the game into the opposition's half. So it was actually away from us. It actually worked because when the subs finally did come in and Joe came on, they weren't ready for that change in dynamic. And it was brilliant by Ruben because the way we were playing to begin with was high up the pitch, all high attacking, those kind of playing the balls into the channels and into the flanks. And they tried to kind of, I can't say counter that, but obviously kind of cope with that. And then obviously when the change came, they just couldn't cope. And hence why Joe got such a lovely goal. And now we look at Norwich. Ryan and Joe have we even discussed this on Sunday and how we perfectly said it. They're a very, very good team. They have the league's top striker, goal scorer. When we played them at their place, though we made it easy for them due to the CW name, thou shalt not be named, football, they just look good. They looked really good. If anything, after watching that game when they played us at their place, I thought they would be a lot higher in the league than they actually are now.
Currently sitting eighth, they are on 43 points with 31 games played.
I thought they'd be in the at least minimum top 6. I would have said top 3 or 4 with how they were. And now we're playing them at home. Obviously, we've just had a discussion what our home form's like. But they will be coming against a different Hull City.
Yeah.
Which is, in a way, is our saving grace. Because that counter-attack football against us isn't as effective anymore against Hull City. That counter-attacking ball that an opposition would play into those positions that we weren't able to defend at the beginning of the season, we've shut them out. It's completely shut out.
It's amazing what happens when you've got a manager who knows what he's doing, isn't it?
It's amazing when you have a manager who knows how to use a midfield. I tell you, it's crazy how the dynamic of Hull has changed from the start of the season to now. Am I confident we're going to win this? I tell you right now, in my opinion, we've got more chance of beating Burnley than we do Norwich. But are we going to make it easy for them as we did previously? No, we're not. So I think it's going to be, believe it or not, I actually think it's going to be a really good game. And it's either going to go drastically wrong or it's going to be the best Hull City team you've seen all season, because it's lined up that way with it being Norwich and at home and obviously the new players that they're going to be coming against. So,
to be fair, whether it's Hull or Norwich who win, there's always goals Hull Norwich at the MKM as well. So,
yeah,
it'd be nice to see a win though at home, Paul, wouldn't it? Because we're struggling for it, aren't we?
Well, we desperately need one, as Joe said earlier. 4 teams coming here who are round and about us. We've got to start winning at home. I think the thing with Norwich this season, they started off pretty well, but I think they're very inconsistent. You know, they do score goals, but they do let them in as well. And I think, you know, it could be a really entertaining game. And I think, don't we own one? I mean, last season
we own more than
well,
one.
probably more than one. But last season, I think once it's the first game of the season when they got that second goal, it wasn't a corner.
Yep.
And then they come here, and to be fair, I thought we battered them here last season, but they got 2 goals. I think we got 1 back or something. So I think we owe them, we owe them a defeat, realistically. It will be a tough game. I think it depends which Norwich turn up sometimes, because I think, as Christian said, early on in the season, you'd probably put them in the top 6 definitely, and they're not. So it just proves they are inconsistent, but they're a consistent, inconsistent team, if you know what I mean. They'll probably look at it and think you're going to get 3 points because we haven't got a good record against them recently, have we? So, but it is a different team, and I think we've got a chance, to be honest. I wouldn't think we can get in. If we'll get a draw, I think we could get a draw. If we can get a draw at Burnley, that'd be 2 good results, I think. And then move on, obviously, to another hard game after that. But I think we can get something out of these games.
I don't think there's an easy game that we've got now. I think they're all going to be hard games because at this moment in time, people are still scrapping for either going up to the top 6 or going out of the bottom 3. It doesn't even matter where you are in the league at the moment because it is quite compact still. Is the league, 66 points at the top, 25 at the bottom. But if you look right down to about 14th, there's not that much in it really. So people will be thinking from 14th, can I get 5 points to get myself into the top 6? Well, yeah, they can. And, so that's the thing. There's still going to be a lot of battles going on. Anyway, you're listening to Tiger Talk on Humber Wave Radio and on to Hull and Back podcast. Good to have you all tuned in tonight. We've got Ryan with us tonight. Ryan, tell us a little bit about what you do. TikTok, what is that?
To be honest, I just talk mainly about, it was mainly Hull City. I've wanted to do it for a long time, and even to the point of wanting to be a sports commentator. I'm addicted to football. I watch all sorts, but I was just that wound up with Tim Volter. I just had to pick up my phone and I had to vent. Do you know what I mean? There was no amount of tapping on a keyboard or messaging that could get me out of how I was feeling. So I put it on and started doing a couple of videos that did all right, and now I cover mainly Hull City and then a bit of the Championship in general, just to dilute it a bit. And
how many followers do you have on TikTok?
I've hit over 1,000 now.
But I'll try and find it at some point, and I might get on there. I'm a bit of an old fuddy-duddy, so I haven't got TikTok, but over 1,000.
Yeah, I think I'm knocking around 1,200 now. Something
that's
like
good
that.
Then. And how can people follow you if they want to follow you?
So up onto TikTok, Ryan.Frankish3, and just sit and enjoy it.
Yeah, well, if I get TikTok, I'll have a look at it. I think the wife's got TikTok, so I could always have a look on her as well. She's not looking.
Good man.
Yeah, do that because I've got too many social medias and everything already on my phone. I think if I have another one, everybody says if you get TikTok, you sort of start watching these videos and you never stop.
Yeah,
and I ain't got the time to watch any more things. God, I mean, I will be divorced. Don't tell her, she's only in the other room, but yeah, I will definitely be divorced if I get TikTok. So good luck with that. Keep following Ryan. Keep watching his TikTok posts, and you never know, he might come on here a bit more regular as well. We might have him as a guest on here, and he can have a chat on here as well. You know, to keep it going, because he's done all right tonight, hasn't he, Joe?
It has. And he's been on the main show before with Christian and I, and did a good job, Ryan.
Lovely, thank you.
And
I enjoy his vents. I enjoy his little venting that he does, to be honest. It's my type of thing to latch onto. So, yeah, definitely keep going on to that one, Ryan, because I love a good vent.
I just want to
help me in my corner against Eddie.
Did you wear him?
No, I haven't got TikTok. No way. No,
Paul,
no.
what are you doing?
Probably too hard for me to find at my age. I can't find it, Ryan. I don't know what I'm doing.
YouTube?
No,
what's YouTube all
I'll have a
about?
look. I don't know.
So
I go on YouTube. Yeah, I look at YouTube.
There you go. It's got
I actually
YouTube.
watched Man United get beat 5-1 by the old Leeds United last night.
That's not a good thing, is it?
There was hardly a bad foul in the match. You can't believe it, can you?
I'm
not saying that, but there was hardly a bad foul in the match.
I'd have preferred a 0-0 draw on that one, I can tell you. I can't stand either of them, and that's just my opinion. Nobody else's.
2 years ago.
I like your style, Eddie.
Anyway, we've had a departure. Abdush has gone. You pronounced where he's gone to earlier, Joe. I'm not even going to attempt it, so don't make me try.
Go on.
No. So Abdush has gone. We're still sat here feeling a bit cynical about things that haven't happened, though, aren't we?
You had to say
He'll
it.
go.
You had to say it. Yeah.
Is he going, Joe, do you think?
I think he'll be gone. The injury might have complicated things, so we might be in a bit of a rush. But I think he'll go. He's more or less fit now. Ruben said today, I know. It's a novelty, isn't it?
Joe, you are a good comedian. You should get a show on stage. You're that good. He's never been fit all his life, has he?
Well, let me rephrase. He is just about fit enough to train with the group again, ready for his move, where he will play 4 games or whatever he'll play, and then it'll happen again.
God help us if there's a stray cone on the way to the training ground that he might trip on, because then he definitely won't be fit for another 3 years. That's the contract.
You've driven down Millhouse Woods Lane, haven't you, Eddie?
I have to. It's like you take your life into your own hands driving down Millhouse Woods Lane. Let me tell you.
It is if Cynic comes, if someone's parked like a bit of an idiot, and Cynic has to go up the curb, he's got to make sure he doesn't come down the curb too heavily back, getting half the car back on the road, because otherwise, not only could the car be in a bit of a state, think about his right foot, it'll be knackered.
It's a funny old game, his football, isn't it? And it's well paid. And sometimes you don't even have to do anything to get that wage either. So, it is always a good thing.
Club Cynic has been linked with is Ezenler Erokspor in the Turkish second tier. This lad, when he joined us, was one of the highly rated Turkish prospects. And it's amazing what can change in 3 years, isn't it?
No, it is amazing what can change in 3 years. And
he travelled with it. After he joined, he travelled with a national team, didn't he? Just after he joined. He didn't play, but he travelled with a national team. And now second division. Just shows he done it.
Well, the whole thing on that.
Is that where he hurt his foot travelling with them?
He also hurt his foot
for a speed bump or something.
Stripping his bed, getting in the shower.
It was a bad landing at Leeds Bradford when there was some crosswinds out there. So it's
what a sounding.
It's a strange one. It's not quite as bad as the one that we'd never seen. He's finally got as well, apparently. Yeah. Selly, he's gone as well. I mean, what happened there? I've no idea.
Does he exist? That's my question. Does he exist?
There's pictures of him on the internet. I can tell you that. There is pictures of him on the internet.
Is it him?
There's never been. I don't think
anything on the internet these days.
There is. We won't go into that, Joe, because this is a family show.
No, I said you can make pictures.
Oh, you can make. Yeah, well, we won't go into that either because it's a family show. But yeah, somebody might have made a picture with Sally with a Hull City shirt on, but I don't think he's ever been to Hull to put a Hull City shirt on.
I was gutted when he left. I had to take down all my posters of him. I had to get rid of all my shirts.
Is he in the Panini book? Is that Sally in the Panini book?
Somebody was trying.
Anybody got Sally? It's worth £1 million.
I don't know what to do with this big Peru flag that I've got.
Somebody was trying to trade the card of Sally. There was only one of them printed, and it's worth a fortune, as you say, Paul. But yeah, it's a funny old game. It's football, and you know the Turkish transfer window. When does that shut? Is it tomorrow?
Well, I thought it was tomorrow. When I googled it, it was tomorrow. But Baz at Hull Daily Mail has said it's
whenever
15th,
Turkey decides.
Is it? Oh, right. I thought it was midnight of the 12th. So tomorrow night.
I thought midnight of the 12th.
Let me Google it again. Sky Sports January transfer window 2025 says it closes tomorrow. But
right.
Basically,
we've got to get rid of him before tomorrow, is what we're saying.
Well, ideally, yeah.
In a nice way.
There's a picture of him here in the 120th anniversary shirt.
It's mental, isn't it? That a limited edition shirt has been worn by Dokan Cynic.
Absolutely crazy. I mean,
that's got to be worth a few quid, that sticker, hasn't it? It's got to be.
Listen, there was people.
How many minutes have you played for Hull City? 120. You haven't.
Hey, the thing with it is, right, here's the thing. There was people queuing for these shirts, and they wasted one on Cynic. They could have sold it. You know what I mean? There's worth a fortune these shirts, but Cynic's on a picture on here in my screen at the moment. He's got one of these shirts on. I'm sorry if you haven't got one of these shirts. I'm sorry, and I'm really sorry that Duncan Cynic got one before you, even though he's injured.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of weird signings, good player this one actually, but still the circumstances. Oscar Zambrano. We had some rumours about him in the week. As the whistle has just gone at Turf Moor. So if you're still listening, thank you for your service. Stick around another 10 minutes in the background. Oscar Zambrano.
Yeah.
Rumour has it, we are prepared to make that deal permanent this summer. Reports from Colombia saying that we are exercising, we have exercised, we will reportedly exercise the option we have to buy Oscar Zambrano from LDU Quito, and that would be for about $3.5 million that this source says, which is what? If we take that as US, what does that translate to into pounds, roughly?
It'll be about 2.7, will it? 3-ish?
Yeah, about 3.
Just shy of 3. It's just shy of 3. It's like
2.8 million. There we go.
Not far
so
off.
That was close enough for a guess. It really
right.
was.
Well done.
That
talk must be good.
No, yeah. Blowing up on the exchange rate, Paul.
Yeah, he's learning now. These subscribers are paying for his stream. That's what it is. He's there. Right, that's another one. Yeah, I've added that up quickly.
Paul's thinking he's going to have to do some Googling here, find out what he can get.
Yeah, I am, definitely.
Just don't do those TikTok
figure it out
dances,
if it's
Paul. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Christian, I'll take your advice on that one then.
I'll give you a bit of advice, Dad, when we are on the radio. All right, you know, it'll be
right,
between me and you. All right, you might be able to make a bit more money than these lot are thinking.
Anyway, so Zambrano is obviously banned reportedly for 16 months at the moment.
Yes.
And he's got a Court of Arbitration for Sport appeal hearing at some point towards the end of this month, we believe, which could see it reduced to, well, from the 16 months, I'd reckon, to probably about 10, 11, 12. Or it could be wiped off altogether, in which case we do still have registration space to register him. Especially, well, when I did my deep dive on it, we could register Amer and Cynic at the end of the window, plus Zambrano and Egan, and still have a spot spare. So I think the club will have registered him still, in case. Question is, if it's up to you and these reports have something behind them, me and Christian did this the other night, but we'll do it again. Why not? Oscar Zambrano, would you buy him? Yes or no?
Well, I think he's a good buy. Yeah, he looked very useful.
I probably would. Yeah, probably would.
Whether I'd play him if his ban was lifted this season, I don't know. To be quite honest, I think Alzati's playing well. Into kid from Monaco looks useful. We've got Crooks, and other people. I don't know if he'd get back in the team because he's not going to be 100% fit, is he? We really can't afford to wait for somebody to come along. So I'd definitely buy him and probably start him next season, pre-season, and he can play. He's a good player. Looks a good player. Looks like an Alzati, didn't he? I think, cool on the ball, a really good player. So, yeah, I wouldn't have any qualms about buying him, to be quite honest. Would we buy him in League One, though? Would that be a thing he'd drop down to?
Well, I mean, your question, I suppose, it comes down to this, doesn't it? You've got Puerta, who's loaned into us. Puerta, we haven't got I don't think we've got have we got a buy on Puerta?
Yeah,
yes.
Obligation.
Is it an obligation or just an option?
Yeah, obligation after so many games.
There's both.
So if you've got to buy Puerta and you don't have to buy Zambrano, then I probably wouldn't, if I'm honest, because I think ultimately it's too much. Because I probably at this moment in time, and you probably will disagree with me, Christian will probably argue with me, but at this moment, I wouldn't, if we didn't have the obligation to buy, I wouldn't buy Puerta. Because I think that when you look at
it's twofold, Eddie, for Puerta. There's the obligation if he hits a certain amount of games played or games started or whatever, which is just under half of the 46, I think. But even if he doesn't hit that, we've got an option anyway.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, put it this way, I would not buy Puerta at this moment. I think that Alzate has come on so nicely now. Now that he's got his fitness, he looks, like a player. Alzate, for me, I would probably buy Zambrano ahead of Puerta, if I'm honest. That would be my ideal thing, I think. And I think, as I think you said, didn't you, that Matazo, he looks like a player as well. So I think I'd rather have him in as well ahead of Puerta. So that'd be my dilemma, would be if we have to sign Puerta, then I wouldn't sign him. But if we didn't have to sign Puerta, then I would. And that's my answer. I'm sorry it's a bit long-winded.
No, Eddie.
Here we go.
No. Right, here we go.
Where's the
popcorn out? Come on.
End it on a high.
All right, yeah, end it on a high. Now, with respect to both of them, let's for instance, one's been out for over a season, and it's still 50-50 if it's going to get lifted. Though that kind of glimpse that we saw of him playing Zambrano, he looked class. He looked so calm and composed. He looked great. But the time away, yeah, I can understand the reason for purchasing him, but he's not going to be useful for a very long time because of the amount of match fitness that he's going to require to get back up to the standard he was. Now, with Puerta, we are playing him, and he is match fit ready. And if you were to say, would I have Puerta or would I have Slater, which one do you think I would be picking? Because it would definitely be Puerta over Slater. Nothing to do with respect to how Slater's been a scapegoat recently. it's more down to the fact of Puerta is a better footballer than Slater is. He can turn his man. He can receive a ball and literally turn his man and get the ball up the pitch. Whilst with Slater, he's only one directional. So if you're asking me to say, should we buy him over the other? Yeah, of course, because he's filling in that extra attribute that Slater doesn't have. So I would rather purchase him and sell Slater, if I'm honest with you.
Loses the ball too easy, does Puerta. Loses the ball far too easy. He's started to get knocked off the ball too easy, and his passing hasn't been as good just recently either. I get what you say about Regan Slater, but Regan Slater, he cost us 50 grand.
Yeah, but
and that was to do with that was then. He cost us 50 grand. Puerta's 4 million or something, is he?
It's close to it. Is with the extras.
I still get what you mean. It is a hefty amount for what we've been displayed so far.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the situation. So, I think Zambrano's too much money as well because of what you've just said, Christine. So, although we could get the popcorn out and we could have a fight about it, I agree with you. He's not played any games, and it's a lot of money to pay for somebody that hasn't played the game. So I think that both of them are a little bit. We do these funny things to ourselves as a club, and we cause ourselves too much trouble. We've seen it. We've just had Ryan Giles go out to Middlesbrough. There was no way after he played last season that we would have signed him if we didn't have that actual, what's the word that I'm looking at, where you have to buy him, the obligation to buy. We would never have signed him. So why do we put ourselves into this position? The owner has said that on Zambrano we are covered. I hope we are covered just in case, because if this ban don't get changed, then there's no point in signing him, is there, Ryan?
No, I don't know. Listen, I hate being that guy, but when I see someone as good as Alzate, I get scared of losing him straight away, because that's all we've been through my lifetime. Just that selling club, that feeder club. And you've got to remember, he hasn't got the longest of contracts, does he? Is it a 2-year with the option of 3, or is it 1 with the option?
Alzate's contract, it expires at the end of
deal. It is
next year.
Yeah, 2-year deal. Obviously, with a 1 year as well, if extra year if we want.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So I mean, we don't have him for a long time, and it's almost as if everything fits into place where Zambrano will just be getting back to the peak of his powers, and Alzate could be moving on. So I don't want that to happen, but I think it'd be a good contingency.
Yeah, no, I can get that. Listen, I've liked watching Zambrano when he played for us. I think, him and Alzate are both quality players. Listen, I'm not saying that Puerta isn't a quality player, because he is a good player. I just think that them two are a step above him, if I'm honest. That's my opinion. And, people will differ with me. They always do. But I think that, when you've looked at the quality of them two, I think, as you say, it would be a shame to lose Alzate, but I could see somebody coming in and bid for him in the summer for definite. And I get your logic. We've got 2 minutes left before we go. So let's have a quick thing. Burnley, we're on the kickoff. We're already going. We don't know what score it is because we're sat here doing this on Monday night. Win or lose, Joe? Or draw then?
Win. Why not? 1-0.
Christian.
Yeah, 1-0. I'm going to go with Joe.
Ryan.
Well, I'm just getting back in my van now after the game, and we won 3-1. So.
That's Mike's famous score, isn't it?
Well done, Ryan. Paul.
Well, I'm going to be boring and say 0-0.
And I'm going to go with you, Paul. 0-0 for the Burnley. Right, we've got just over a minute left. Norwich, Joe.
2-1 defeat.
Christian.
3-2 defeat.
Ryan,
Same as Christian, 3-2 defeat.
Paul.
Well, I think it'd be a 2-2 draw.
Right. What am I going to go for? Well, I'm going to go for a 3-1 home win.
Go on.
Go on, lad. I like that.
Some of what
Said
you
that.
just had.
We need that home. We need that win, and it could just be the thing that helps us to kickstart that home form and keep us in the championship for another season. Anyway, you've been on to Hull and Back Podcast Tiger Talk. You've been with me, Eddie Wright.
Me, Joe Collins.
Me, Christian Sorensen.
Me,
Paul
Ryan
Wright.
Frankis.
Oh,
Me,
it
Paul
was
Wright.
it was so close to being right and just didn't quite happen, but it was close. Hey, lads, thanks for your company tonight. It's been really good. We'll be back next Wednesday from 7 o'clock here on Humber Wave Radio and the Hull and Back Podcast. It's been great to have you tuned in, and we hope you can join us again next week.